before you buy a retreat center in Costa Rica, pay off your mortgage, hire a financial advisor, or even tap the like button on this video. The first key to handling a financial windfall is to slow down and not make any big decisions right away. I'm Penelope Jane Smith, and in over 20 years of teaching and coaching people around finances, I have seen way too many situations where someone received an inheritance, a divorce settlement, an insurance settlement, or some other financial windfall and, well, blown it. I don't want that to happen to you, especially if you're depending on this money to be able to support yourself. It's fine if you just want to splurge a little to celebrate, like going out to a nice dinner or getting a massage. And it's fine if you want to pay some forward and make a small donation. But in the beginning, capital preservation, that means not losing money, is your first priority. Because one of the secrets to protecting and growing your money faster is to control your losses. No one talks about this because it doesn't sound sexy. Who wants to control their losses? That sounds like you're planning to take some losses. Who wants to do that? No one, right? Plus, it doesn't support the big box financial advisor business model of keeping your money in the market at all times where they can keep collecting their fees even while you're losing money. But what no one tells you is that when you lose money, it takes a lot to make that back, like more than you might think. Here's a chart that shows how much money you need to make to recover from losses. And the bigger the loss, the more difficult it is to recover. For example, if you lose 50% and then gain 50%, that sounds like you should be back where you started, right? But actually, if you lose 50%, you have to make 100% just to break even. So it is totally okay to park that money temporarily in a savings account, ideally a high yield savings account where you can earn some interest, or a money market account, as long as it's insured by the FDIC if you're in the United States, the CDIC if you're in Canada, or the FSCS if you're in the UK. Basically, you want an account where your money is protected from the event of a bank failure, because again, your first priority right now is capital preservation, keeping your money safe. All right, next is that depending on the nature of the windfall, there may be an emotional component to consider. For example, if you're grieving the loss of someone you love, you might not be in the best shape to make big financial decisions, and you might need some grief counseling or therapy or other healing support first. If this is a lot more money than you've ever had before, you may also want to do some inner work around expanding what I call your money bucket, which is how much money you can energetically hold and comfortably manage in your life. If your money bucket isn't big enough to handle the financial windfall, it's like pouring water into a bucket that's already full. It'll just spill out. And there are a lot of great transformational modalities that can help you with this. And you probably already have some that you know work for you, like hypnotherapy or emotional freedom technique, which is also called tapping. I mean, even just having the money sit there in your savings account while you breathe and get used to it being there will help, because there's a part of your brain that's primarily concerned with survival, which often means keeping things exactly the same. So that part of your brain might perceive this windfall as a threat to your survival and be on high alert to get rid of it as quickly as possible to keep you safe. As that part sees that you can survive having that money in your account, it becomes safe to have more money. So wait until you're in an emotionally resourceful place to make any big money moves. Now it's time to make a plan for your money. The first thing you need to do is find out if you're gonna owe any taxes. If you won the lottery, that's considered income, usually. An inheritance is typically not tax-like income. So you might wanna consult a tax professional and make sure you understand any potential tax consequences and feel prepared for them. You don't wanna accidentally spend or invest any money that needs to go to taxes, right? The next thing to consider is the intention of this money and how you can honor the intention. Is this supposed to create an income stream for you? Are there any rules or restrictions? Those are things you'll need to keep in mind as you create your plan. Now, in terms of how to allocate the money, it's important to understand where you are in your financial journey, because what might be great advice for someone at one stage could be horrible advice for somebody at a different stage. For example, I recently heard a story of a woman who received a large life insurance payment, and a well-meaning friend told her she should pay off her mortgage. So she did. And in some cases, and at a certain stage, paying off your mortgage can be a smart move. But in this case, the woman wasn't at that stage yet. She needed more income to support herself. So she should have invested that money, at least some of it, for income. But once she realized that, it's not like she could just take the money back out of the house, because in order to do that, she would have to refinance. And in order to qualify for a loan, she'd have to show proof of income, which of course she didn't have. So that put her in a really sticky situation. There's a spectrum of financial experience, all the way from being in financial crisis and not able to cover your basic living expenses, all the way up to being totally financially free, living off the income from your investments, building wealth, and planning for the legacy you want to leave. I call this the path to prosperity, and there are 8 milestones along the path, with each one bringing more ease, peace, and freedom around money. This doesn't necessarily have to happen in this exact order, but it shows you what to focus on first, second, third, and so on. So milestone number 1 is to become cash flow positive, which means that you're making enough money to pay your bills. If you're not already cash flow positive and you receive a financial windfall, then you might really need some of this money to survive until you can become cash flow positive. Maybe you could even invest this money for passive income, and that would help you become cash flow positive. And depending on the amount, maybe it could even generate enough passive income for you to be totally financially free, meaning that your passive income is more than your expenses, so you don't have to work for money if you don't want to. So here's a quick rule of thumb to figure out how much passive income you could reasonably expect. Most big box financial advisors use something called the 4% rule, which basically means that you should be able to sell off 4% of your investments to take as passive income without worrying about outliving your money. So if you receive a financial windfall of $1 million, how you would do that mathematically is you would take $1 million times 0.04. And that would give you $40,000 for the year. If you divide that by 12, that gives you about $3,300 a month. Now, if you're a more savvy investor and you feel like you could pull 8% off your investments as passive income, then you would take the $1 million times 0.08, and that would give you $80,000 for the year, or about $6,600 a month in passive income. Now, in terms of investing, I just have to give you a word of caution here. Please keep in mind that you might have a lot of financial advisors pressuring you to hand all your money over to them to manage. But what you might not know is that the term financial advisor doesn't really mean anything. It's not tied to any specific credentials. I've met a lot of people who call themselves financial advisors or financial planners who work for insurance companies, and they're limited in what financial products they can offer. So even though they might be great people with the best of intentions, they might recommend products that actually aren't the best fit for their clients because that's all they're licensed to sell. So if you don't feel confident investing yourself, please, please, please don't rush out and hire your college friend or the person your parents have worked with for 30 years and really like. Invest 15 minutes in watching my YouTube video on how do you find the right financial advisor. It can save you a lot of money, not to mention pain and suffering, for free. So check the link in the description or in the upper right of this video. We also do a deep dive on investment strategies at my Financial Freedom 101 3-day online event. So if you want to understand investing better and be a good steward of your money, I highly recommend you join us. If you're not already registered, go to financialfreedom101online.com to check it out, because in just 3 days, you're gonna get the essential financial education that you never got in school or at home growing up. And you'll leave with the tools and money systems that you need to be financially free forever. So, milestone number 1 is to become cash flow positive. And you might even be able to skip right ahead to milestone number 8 and become completely financially free. Either way, milestone number 2 is to pay off any high interest consumer debt that feels like a burden. A lot of well-meaning people will tell you that if you receive a financial windfall, whether that's a sale of a business or real estate or whatever, you should use it to pay off debt. This is a big mistake, because debt isn't actually a problem. Debt is a symptom. And if you blow your financial windfall on treating the symptom instead of fixing the underlying problem, you're ultimately just gonna end up right back where you started, except now the windfall is gone. There are 2 underlying problems that create the symptom of debt. The first one is not being cash flow positive, which is why that's milestone number 1, and that's what you wanna focus on fixing first. The second one is not having the right money systems in place. If you don't have a clear system of cash flow planning, for example, you might actually be cash flow positive, but you have unconscious money leaks in your spending patterns that lead to debt. And if you don't know how to do cash flow planning, that's another great reason to check out Financial Freedom 101, because you will learn how to manage cash flow even if you have an irregular income that changes every month. So assuming that you've fixed the underlying problems, then it can be helpful to allocate some of your windfall towards getting rid of high interest rate debt or any debt besides a mortgage, which we'll cover in just a moment. Milestone number 3 is to have a reserve or contingency fund with 3 to 6 months of living expenses in savings as like a cash cushion against life's unexpected events. So if you don't already have that, you might want to allocate some of your windfall to building that up. So those first 3 milestones are your financial foundation. And once you have the first 3 in place, things start getting more exciting and fun. Then milestone number 4 is to save up for large purchases like paying cash for a car or a vacation without having to get financing. This also applies to saving up for a down payment on a home. And once you get to this stage, you might choose to spend up to 10% of your windfall on a splurge, like taking a trip or something like that. Then milestone number 5 is to save a percentage of your income towards retirement. If you're not already doing that, this is a great time to start. Milestone number 6 is to send your kids or grandkids to college without debt, if that's a goal of yours. Then milestone number 7 is to own your own home free and clear, if that's a goal of yours. And then finally, milestone number 8 is when your passive income from your investments is more than your expenses and you're completely financially free. So your windfall could help you accelerate your progress there. If you are totally financially free and you still have more windfall money, then you can invest it, spend it, or give it as you see fit. One more quick tip is that if you've received a significant financial windfall, you might want to meet with an estate planning attorney to create or update your estate plan so that your money is going where you want it to go if something were to happen to you. So there you have it. Go slow, get yourself in an emotionally resourceful place before making any big money decisions. Find out if you'll owe any taxes or if there are any intentions, rules, or restrictions around how you'll use the money, and then allocate your money according to which milestone you're on the overall path to prosperity, and create or update your estate plan. With the right financial education and systems and strategies, a financial windfall can be a huge blessing and accelerate your path to financial freedom. That's what I want for you. So thank you for watching, and if you're coming to Financial Freedom 101, I look forward to seeing you there.